Hey fellow language learning nerds, today is story time. I thought today, if you don't mind, I would go over a couple of stories and memories that I have that are connected with attending my language class that I do once a week. I've been going there for a couple of years now, and there have been a few kind of opportunities or things I've been able to do because of that. And yeah, I just thought I would like to share those memories with you, if you don't mind. So, yeah, story number one. The first story that I would like to tell you about is the one connected to Children's Day. Children's Day is a holiday in Japan, and for that day, the art department in my college decided that they were going to do artworks in connection, doing Japanese art in connection with that. And they just asked my teacher if we could collaborate, the language class and the art class. So the art students did some nice, beautiful artwork, and the Japanese students, Japanese language students, would write the artist's name and the name of their work in Japanese writing, which was really nice to do because I think pretty much all of us in our class got to do a little something that went up with the art students' work. But connected to that, we also our teacher got us to do some really nice crafting stuff. One of them being koi nobori, koi nobori, koi no nobori, koi. Oh my god, koi nobori. I probably could have shown this off a bit better. So basically our teacher, she got us doing crafts, and she had sent us some videos with instructions on how to make these guys. You might have seen these before, but usually they are kind of like kites. They look like koi fish, and they're nice and colourful, and they're usually flying in the wind. And we got to try and make our own versions that we could hang up. These aren't quite exactly the ones that you would see flying, but they still were pretty fun to make, I'm not gonna lie. I got to make this nice bright orangey one, and my partner also joined me in making them as well, even though he's not part of the class. But he had fun as well, and he made them too, yay! We also made little ones as well, like this one, which I tried to make it to look like actual koi fish, you know? But I feel like I just accidentally made it look like a cow. Like it's got a cow pattern on it. Oh no. We also got to do origami, and I made these ones. Some butterflies and some sakuras. Oh no, there's too many fish on my table now. So yeah, we made some of these, like little sakuras. And I got like some nice different pinky kind of colorings to kind of match. Ta-da! They're really kind of nice. They weren't so difficult to make, these ones. It's one of those ones where it's not too difficult, but trying to do the pattern at first, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely wrong, this is definitely wrong, this is definitely wrong, oh, it works! Also, I really liked doing these butterflies as well. I managed to get quite a few different colour papers so that, come on. These were quite nice, these were nice to do as well, like, again, sort of thing like, oh, am I doing this right? And then the last like one or two folds, you're like, oh, it's taking shape. Gonna be honest, I can't remember how to do any of it now. But at least I have a nice little colourful origami tray. They were fun to make though, genuinely. Okay. Come on, fish. Come on. Get out of here. Come on. Go back to your pond. Okay, another thing that I got to do connected to the college, and that was a little radio interview. The college itself has its own little radio studio. It has courses connected with it that that uses the radio studio that they have. But part of their kind of language of the month thing that they like to do where they highlight each month. They kind of say like, this month is Spanish month, and they do things in connection to it. And when they were doing Japanese for language of the month, they wanted to interview my Japanese teacher and a couple of her students. I guess it's kind of like, if people listen to this because they're kind of interested in Japanese, and then they hear the teacher and the students being like, I love learning Japanese, and they'll be like, oh, maybe I could go to this college as well. But it did mean that I got to be interviewed on a little radio show. Yay! I was a little nervous about it, but what was really nice is that the lady who was interviewing us, who was she was the head of the language department, she got in contact with us beforehand, and she went through the questions, being like, this is what I'm going to ask you, so that we had a chance to actually think about our answers. Because I know that I'm the sort of person who sometimes, if you ask a question on the spot, I'm like, I don't know. But then, like an hour later, I'm like, no, I know all the answers. No, wait, no, let me go again. Just before we started the actual recording of the interview, there was someone else there, part of it, who was basically doing the recording. They were the tech person behind everything. They weren't actually part of the questions or anything like that. And they saw that I had my microphone set up that I'm using, this one, and they were like, oh, you got your own microphone and all that, and I'm like, yeah, just a complete coincidence, ha 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 ha. The final story connected to me going to my language classes is the scariest one that I had, mainly because that was just a straight up performance in front of people. And it was the first one of these sorts of things that I'd done as well. So, similar to the art connection one, where it was like a collaboration between the art students and us. Same thing, but this time with the music department. They were going to be putting on a performance, and they wanted to tell the story of Yuki Onna, or the Snow Woman, which is a Japanese folklore story. And the music teacher thought it would be great if we could actually have, while the music is playing, we could have people tell the story of Yuki Onna. And then she was like, yes, let's go talk to the language department. And she talked to our teacher, and they were like, yeah, does any of you Japanese language students want to tell the story in Japanese as part of this performance? And me and my fellow classmate were brave enough to say yeah to this. And so on an evening a couple of years ago now, me and my fellow classmate, we got in front of a crowd of people and in Japanese told the story of Yuki Onna while the music students played music to go along with that. And that was both really, really fun and also really terrifying. It's nerve-wracking enough to get in front of people and talk in your native language. I wouldn't have been as nervous if I was telling the story in English, but I was telling it in Japanese, and I don't know. I don't know if the people in the audience who spoke Japanese, and there were at least a few, because our Japanese teacher, she came along to obviously, she was very supportive to watch her students in class, and she brought a couple of her friends who were fellow Japanese teachers. We were like, oh great, more witnesses who can hear how terrible our Japanese is. But yeah, just kind of for the first time publicly speaking in Japanese, and it was very scary. It was very scary, but ultimately very, very rewarding for having done that. I was very lucky that my partner came along, and he came to support me, and he got to sit in the front row. And I was even luckier because a friend of mine came along as well, and I didn't expect anyone else to kind of turn up and be like, yeah, go Reen. But a friend of mine did, and that made me feel very good. It was scary speaking in front of everyone, but at the same time, I felt like if I could get the courage to stand up in front of a group of people and speak in Japanese, then it's not, then, you know, if I've done that, it's not as scary to just, you know, if I ever go on holiday to Japan, it's not as scary to go up to someone and just say something very simple. You know, that's not as scary as talking to a whole crowd of people. Sometimes, maybe, or maybe it is, I don't know. I'm still gonna be nervous in that situation. It was fun, it was scary, but it was a very unique opportunity that I was able to have, and I feel very lucky to have been able to have been part of it. Ultimately, I hope that I made my teacher proud. So yeah, those were the little kind of things that I was able to do because I go to that weekly class. I'm very happy that I got to do all of those things. They were so much fun, and if any other opportunity like that comes up again, that'll be pretty amazing too. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about those little experiences that I had, so thank you very much to listening to me natter on about them. Please do feel free to let me know about any extra things that you were able to do because of, say, language classes that you were taking. I think that would be very interesting to know, like, what random things did you get to do just because you're learning a language? But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me natter on about these little stories. I hope to see you in the next video. And so for now, may your grammar be structured and your vocabulary varied. Bye!